What is your problem? What is your problem? Tell me, what is your problem? Right, what's your problem? If you've got a problem or a paradox, I'm going to turn that into progress. That's the name. I'm Dave Thackeray. Welcome from Word and Mouth, the content strategy, communications and sales consultancy and coaching business. So if you've got any problems in the world of business, talk to me. We'll figure it out. That's what we're here for. What's your problem is exploring the world of business, asking questions, and today a bit of a workshop. I like to bring thoughts and ideas. We do innovation, we do communication, and so much more than that. But the first thing I'm going to do is just have a very quick look at, you might remember that we talked about Kiro in the first episode of What's Your Problem. At the moment, you can develop applications with AI for free. Kiro.dev, it's a work of Amazon. The great Jeff Bezos made this when he's not working on his phallic-shaped rocket ship, Blue Origin. He and his team are working on AI and how we can further this great transformation in our world. And as you can see, I'm working through the implementation plan. I'm just going to finish this off. I think now will be optimal time to get a first look at this app in the wild. Okay, so I'm going to send that off. And let's see if by the end of the episode, we can't get a first look at an application that I've been building on Kiro. We mentioned it in brief yesterday, but fundamentally it's about knowledge graphs. And let me give you a quick TED spiel. So imagine that you were at a TED conference and you wanted to present some kind of exciting idea. Well, that's what I'm going to give to you now. Right, so you're watching YouTube, you're trying to learn something, but you can't remember whether you watched something on this subject before, or maybe you're cribbing for an exam and you want to find some really good, concise, pithy, succinct videos that can teach you at the speed and in the format and the style that you like to learn. Well, that's what this app is going to do for you. Create this knowledge graph that will essentially help you to see what you've learned. It will test you on some of the subjects that you've learned, and you can then see where the gaps are. So if you just want to learn broadly about the world around us, maybe you're cynical about crypto and you want to find out how it began, or go down a rabbit hole in that space, or maybe you're a butcher, maybe you want to learn how to make better burgers, all that sort of stuff. Execution queued, I can see, so let's not get into this right now. Let's hope that Kiro wakes up at some point. We're making great progress. I think we're on task number 10. We're just about to finish the Streamlit user interface. So what I'm hoping to do by the end of this episode is to present it to you, but I'm skeptical. We might not get there. This execution queued essentially means that we've either hit rate limits or there's a lot of demand on the services. So Jeff, his fingers are fast, but they're not as fast as they could be these days. He's just come back from Venice from his $50 million holiday, hasn't he? Bless him. And congratulations, Jeff. Right. So I'll tell you what we're going to do today. I'm going to use the Perplexity Pro interface to explain the idea. I don't know whether I can do this while I am. Let's try it. It might work. It probably won't. Let's allow. Hey, Perplexity. Oh, paper. Interesting. Hi, Perplexity. You are a brilliant digital strategist. This is an absolute disaster. Let me type it. You are a world-class digital strategist and you understand perfectly the mechanics of a business. I want you to help me build an app that will be available to businesses who want an alternative to Squarespace when creating a new digital presence digital shop window to sell more stuff. Okay, that's the premise. Let me explain this in a bit more detail. I have been thinking for a while now, why have we not got better than Squarespace or WordPress or Wix? And Wix is actually leading the charge, to be fair. Wix is doing a pretty good job. Elementor. Is it Elementor or Elemental? Not sure. It's like essentially a wrapper for WordPress. Doing a great job. But the one thing that all of these efforts lack is creating a really deep understanding of your business. Now, Elemental is closest because it includes a chat interface. It's called an AI site planner, and it asks you questions and it creates a product requirements document, a PRD, that it then sends into its big AI sausage factory, which spits out prototypes. It's glamorous, it's beautiful, and it's great, but it misses the mark on one important fact. You're a business, right? And you are, or maybe you're a new business and you have some goals and you have a specific way that your business operates. And there's a lot of unusual or unique moving parts in your business. Now, they say with businesses that typically they're all the same. There's just a few sort of nuts and bolts that are different. You know, Boeing is just the same as Monzo. It's just that, you know, the wrapper's different, the people who work there different. I mean, you might argue that, you know, manufacturing a plane is very different to a banking organization, but fundamentally their goals are the same: to get customers, to generate growth, to generate profits, and to give money back to shareholders. So the very basics, the building blocks are largely the same, but nonetheless, they're very, very different in terms of the things inside the business. So my thinking is, I want to create a new website for a business. I want, using my own language, I don't necessarily want to create a prototype with an engineer just yet. I want to, if I'm a leader, if I'm running sales, then I want to very quickly spin up a prototype that portrays exactly what my prospective and current clients tell me that we need to do a better job in selling what we have to them online. So what I want to do is say something like, okay, we're a business of, let's take a mill, let's take a flour mill. We are a business of 80 people. We have all of these different functions right now. We know that we need to sell 75,000 bags of flour a year. At the moment, we're selling 40,000, but the output could be grown so much more. One of our mills is dormant. Okay, we had a fire there last year, but it's been rebuilt. It's ready to go. But business doesn't justify running that mill right now because we're only operating at 50% capacity. But that is the ambition. Okay, so we're explaining in natural language to AI the current structure of the business and the ambition. We are saying to AI, look, we think that we need a newsletter. We think that we need to host regular events where people can come and explore the mill, taste the merchandise. We get a baker in once a week and he bakes bread with our flour, and then we're able to share with you the fruits of our flour in the form of loaves. These are the things that we think we need. Here's some data about our business. Here's our current website analytics. Here's some feedback from customers. Here's our reviews. Here's what the leadership teams of a mill, I'm not sure, Chief Miller, his ambitions are, her ambitions are, their ambitions are. Now, we want to work with you, AI. And in a way, I really wish that I'd been able to just dump this straight to Perplexity, because it really would have shown you just what a great job these AI agents make of just a load of jumbled nonsense, stream of consciousness. But ultimately, I want to set the scene, and we can go into that, and I can type this very quickly. We can get into it. But fundamentally, I want to tell you all about my business, and then I want you to look at what I'm proposing, look at my data, look at the wider web, see what's worked before, and then propose to me perhaps an updated version of the website that I need. And then I want you to go out and component by component build that. This is real. This is how I envisage it might work, but with an additional benefit. I think if I was a web development studio, and this is like if I'm a design agency or a digital agency, and one of the services that I offer is web development, there's two things I want to do at this moment in time. I want to pull back and I want to look at the business in its entirety. And I want AI to go, well, your website is part of your selling proposition, but it's not the only thing. And I don't want to develop it in isolation to the rest of the business. So I want to create a spider's web of all of the different updates and enhancements and integrations and automation that I want to bring to your business so that you can do a better job holistically in every customer touch point, and maybe even the processes inside your business. There'll be some opportunities that AI will spot. So I guess in a way, it's like a business MOT. It's like a business makeover. It will look, simply speaking, we are asking AI to act as a business consultant. This is the opportunity here to come in and go, okay, well, we realize that the website really needs a makeover. It needs a total reboot, but this would be an opportune moment to think about what we need more broadly. So there's that. And there's also, if I am specifically in the business of providing, time for a quick brew, I think, and for you, take a sip. If I'm in the business of providing websites, digital strategy, then I have an opportunity to fine tune a local AI model. And we've talked about this in the past few days. If you've signed up to my newsletter or you check out my Medium, you'll know that there's, including the latest protagonist, which is the updated mini version of Microsoft's PHI model. We are now seeing a lot of AI models that can be run locally, on-prem, rather than depending on all of these big frontier model providers to charge you for their APIs. So you might want to create a fine-tuned model that incorporates your experiences manually building digital strategy and websites for some other of your clients. And it might be that you've got enough notes. It might be that you've been using AI note-taking apps by now. You will probably have a really good body of evidence, which I think was a Madonna film, wasn't it? I think it was quite a naughty one, that you can plug in as fine-tuning of an existing AI model so that it can work with your existing your styles, your processes, your structure, your tone of voice, everything about. So there's almost like a seamless transition from you building websites to building websites with AI taking most of the strain. So there's this big opportunity there. So in summary, there's these 2 points. It's like, if you're going to work with AI to build a better website, then why not build a better business? And then also, if you are that studio, the shop that builds websites, then why not use all that you've got, all of the experience that you've got, all of the success that you've had in the past, probably across similar industry sectors, to plug into this to give this additional context? Because we know these days that context engineering and not prompt engineering, squeezing as much information that will get AI closer to what you want rather than a couple of sentences and a couple of silly little examples. Context engineering, because the context windows of AI agents now is so much bigger. Google's got 1 million token context window. You can squeeze books into that thing and it will take note. Notebook LM is a great example of how that works in practice. So if you haven't checked out Notebook LM, it really gives you and your teams a good indication of how this might work. Anyway, I just want to play with this a little bit because I want to see if we can get anywhere with this. So I'm just going to quickly go. Okay, so 2 things. One, I want you to look at the macro. Don't just think about the website specifically. I want you to also review the business and its operation to glean useful insights that may help us to build a better overall business, or better business in all aspects of its operation, not just the website. And then create some synthetic, this is important, synthetic data. So you're a cluster strategist and you run a major digital design agency that specializes in website development. Let's say website and app development. You also have a deep understanding of business, digital and business strategist, businesses and how they operate, so you are able to look holistically at an organization when asked to do a single piece of work. Okay, we clear? Okay, so I want you to build an app that will be available to businesses who want an alternative to Squarespace. But the kicker is this app will also recommend to clients other areas of the business that can benefit while they are working on the website. So it's a real all-in-one business consultancy and website development app. The output of this app will be a website that includes all the functionality that a buyer would need to be convinced to make this business their supplier in their business's area of expertise. Okay, we clear so far? I hope so. I haven't got a clue. Right, so and then so the process of the app working would be ask the business tons of questions to understand its operation and ambitions. You would make sure to get request all important data sets that would enable the app to be as precise as possible to the business's needs. You would also, let's say, right, so here's what I'm thinking now. So you would also be thinking about, you would also ask the business what the functionality it believed it needed, and you would then use the Gemini AI API to go out to the web and look at other digital sales success to propose an enhanced version of the website development proposal, which may include what's the word? Unconsidered. Include functionality that hadn't been considered during this discovery process with the business. Okay. Create some synthetic data about your experiences building websites and digital strategy for other businesses in the past that you can use to fine-tune the app that you're building so that it is very much so it feels so that it generates the best possible result for every business that wants a website and a wider digital business strategy created by you. Okay. Let's now get your proposal together. Write a product requirements document and a full list of tasks to create this app in machine readable format or markdown that I can then pass to my AI coding agents to build, firstly in a prototype platform and as a local app before we migrate it to the cloud, which is at that point, when we migrate it to the cloud, then we'll be able to test it. But the thing is, with this, you can right. So let me just copy this before I go anywhere. Let me. Which model shall we use? You see, I'm torn now. I never really know whether to go down the deep research route, which Perplexity offers, which takes longer, or whether I try it on a quicker version. Solid thinking is like a halfway house. It's a reasoning model. So much detail. It doesn't look for loads of different sources. Research is pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? It's like you're looking for an answer. You're not looking for something to be generated or built. So Sonnet 4 thinking is a good one. But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that through just to see what kind of responses I get. And at this, I'm going to go to u.com and I'm going to go to, I'm going to select a O3 Pro. No, because O3 Pro doesn't like you to provide tons and tons of information. Oh, well, there's not a ton of information here. I'm wondering whether to try O4 Mini high effort. We need a bit of effort. I'm going to pay in. And I'm going to let u.com also have a crack at this. And I'm going to go down to make sure that it's working, because sometimes with these higher powered models, with these spendy models, u.com sometimes, I guess, runs out of credit or whatever. And so it says come back later. I just want to check that it's actually working. And I want to then go back to see what we've made of this at Perplexity. So Holistic Biz Pro, fucking worst name ever. But at the same time, let's have a look at the core value proposition, because we're going to have to sell this into clients. We're going to have to sell this in. We could do this two ways, couldn't we? We could put this at the heart of our business so that it runs on autopilot and it's proprietary, and we don't sell this app to other people. We just build better businesses more quickly ourselves. So how well has AI interpreted our requirements? And while we're just looking in, let's see if these guys are we still queued? What's going on, Kiro? Please. This is not okay. Let's create a new one. What the do you know what? I'm going to start this again. I'm not happy with this. Let's get that on. Let's get that on. Let's get that on. Let's see if we can go anywhere with it. Anyway, that's fine. Let's focus on we're multitasking, kids, but we're doing it really well. So core value proposition for Holistic Biz Pro, which is the prompt that we created earlier. We don't just build websites, we build better businesses. I really like this. This is a really nice way in, because don't forget, we're not just building an app that will look at your business and figure out what you need and then propose a website to support those opportunities for your business, the tweaked opportunities. But we're also going to look more widely at the business as well. This is really doing business on steroids. And if I was a digital development agency, I'd be very seriously looking at this and building out something that step by step. Now, you're not going to get to the finished app instantly, because you'll want to go and do some user research and try it out with clients. And you might even have some clients on your books, one of whom is closer to the refresh point for their website. And you might want to tease them and say, okay, we've been having a little bit of a think about how we could improve your business. Give us some of your performance stats, because you'll already know about the business. So you only need to ask sparingly for information to tease them. And then you can generate something that I think would be really interesting for them coming back at you. So we don't just build websites, we build better businesses. I love this. An AI-powered website builder with business intelligence. This is great. This is great. Straight away, huge opportunity. And I don't think it would take you too long to build it. At least the MVP, or the minimal happy making proposition. Let's call that the MHP, shall we? The unique differentiator, holistic business analysis and strategic recommendations. It's like a website builder with business consultancy by Bain. And you've got the target market, clearly growing businesses seeking digital transformation, those that can't necessarily afford to spend $1 million, pounds, sterling on getting a big boys brand in. So you're going to do it for them instead. And I love this 360-degree business optimization. I can already see the landing page, the homepage for this, and I think I could sell a living shit out of this. Okay, so business profiling wizard, 200 plus adaptive questions. And the good thing about this is, if you've got a big ask like this, if you've got to say ask, if you've got to sit down with a client and say, give me an hour, I'll give you the world. You can progressively give them a sense of achievement. So 5 questions in, and you could use a voice interface, so they could chat very casually with you, or you could sit face to face with them. You could do this on a video call, or you could pop into the business and you could just record this and work through it in a more personable way. But 5 questions in, you can start to, the diffusion model where you have pixels that increasingly become a picture. Well, you could do this with this particular process where 5 questions in, you start to show them a hint of what their new website could look like. And they're like hooked. They're like, give me more. This is dopamine. More. Answer another 5 questions. The website updates and you start to get a sense that all this work and also Elemental or whatever. When they create the PRD, you could give a prospective client the PDF of everything that they've told you about the business. And oh man, seriously, they could use that for marketing because they've probably, after answering all these questions, they've probably never spent the time to understand their business to this level of detail. And these questions in themselves will generate. We, word of mouth, use a 50 question model, which gets a sense of the business. But I sometimes think something like this, which is an effort, 200 questions, will actually help that business no end in so many different ways, even if they choose not to engage with you as an agency. But if you're going to sell this app, they'll do it because they've paid for it. There's prior investment. But literally off the back of this, you could say, look, I'll give you business consultancy and then I'll build your website. So there's 2 ways in. It's like if you get objections from a prospective client that, oh, I think my website's all right. You're like, is it? Then you could say, well, okay, well, why don't we have a deep dive into your business and then see if a website could make a big difference? So you've got a different entry point. So if they don't like that, you try that. If they don't like that, try that. Big opportunities. Competitive analysis, great. SWOT generator, again, all these different assets that I think would work really, really nicely. How's Kiro getting on? Slowly is the answer. I'm going to come back to this another day. We've done that. We've done so much. Oh, no task in the queue. Okay. So let's go back to learning German. So, right, this is great, isn't it? So we're able to, through this, we've got so much information. We asked to create synthetic experience data. We've got an example of that. Really interesting. Really interesting. So this is a real hint of how this could go, but we could really start to delve into this synthetic data, get way more synthetic data. We've also got a technology stack. We've also got an idea of how we would build this app, which is tremendous. And if Kiro bothered its arse, I could quite happily paste this whole chat response into Kiro and get it to build out an app outline and actually get started working on it. This is amazing, isn't it? Let's just finish off just to see what we've got from these guys. It's created a workflow in JSON, which is just sexy as you like. This really gives you a sense, doesn't it, of the differences in the models. We were using high effort 04 mini here from OpenAI to create this workflow. This is the interpretation of what I've asked 04 mini, whereas the guys here, pretty sure that was Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 4 thinking mode. So again, they've both gone into code. Sonnet has really started building out how we would advise the AI coding agents to actually build this app. So there's a lot of really rich detail in there in a language that the AI can understand. These guys have just said, look, why don't you just take this and paste it in and see what happens? You don't even need to interpret it. It's like copy that bad boy into Kiro. If Kiro ever bothered to do anything, I'll get back on this. And miracles would happen. Okay, I think that's good. So what's your problem? So what have we done today? We have essentially said to you, okay, we think that there's a better way of building websites with AI. But not only that, we think that the bigger picture, we think that we could build better businesses using a website as a lead magnet, as a way in, as a foot in the door. And what we're hearing back, by the way, I love that it's got MVP there, local prototype, is an Electron. Yeah, good framework. What we've got here is really an opportunity to feed this into AI, create a very rich and detailed prototype. You could put this into Lovable or VO or Bolt or any one of the 10,000 billion other build an app in seconds platforms. Just to get a really good sense of whether this is viable or not. But this is What's Your Problem? I'm Dave Thackeray, and I'm going to play you out, I think, with the What's Your Problem theme tune, because by heck, we loved that, didn't we? And if you have any questions, or have yourself a great